Welcome. We're going to begin this practice laying on our backs. So finding a place on your back that's comfortable for you to lay flat on your back rather than being supported by a block or a bolster or a cushion. Having the spine neutral on the floor and doing whatever feels best for your legs. That could be resting out in Shavasana. Could be bending the knees and allowing the knees to collapse, to rest against each other. Just whatever feels best for your body at the time when you're exploring this practice and dropping into your body. As you begin to drop into your body, take a couple deep breaths. Finding your way out of the thinking mind and into the felt sense of your body. Just tuning in to how the body feels, what you're noticing and where you're noticing it. Maybe you notice places where you're subtly holding, contracting, tightening the body. Maybe you notice places of pain or discomfort. And what's really important here is, regardless of what you sense, the idea is not to change it, to fix it, or to brace against it, to resist it. Whatever it is that you find as you connect more deeply with your body, just allow it to be as it is. This is a practice that I like to call just taking an inventory. Just noticing, presencing yourself to. And we'll begin with some breaths to help to clear and cleanse any heavy energy that we may be feeling in the body. And we'll begin by exhaling all the air from the lungs, completely emptying the lungs, as empty as you can get. Maybe using the diaphragm to push air from the bottom of the lungs. Then take a really full, deep breath in, breathing in as deep as you can. Then exhale just half the air from your lungs. Then inhale to fill again, all the way up, deep breath in. And through the nose, exhale all the air from the lungs, completely emptying. Again, maybe pushing any stale air out, 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 out. And then once again, inhale all the way up. Exhale half. Inhale to fill again. Deep breath all the way up to the top, filling the lungs, filling the lungs. And then exhale completely and fully empty. Through the nose, fully emptying the lungs. Let's do 2 more sets of this. Just on your own time, your own breath. Inhale to fill. Exhale, half. Inhale to fill again. And exhale to empty. Once more. Your own time. Your own breath. And once you've done that last set, just noticing, allowing and feeling. And as you're allowing and feeling, begin to gently rock your head from side to side. Massage your scalp into the floor. Maybe just ever so gently pressing your head into the floor as you do this. And then if your knees are not bent, bend your knees, plant your feet on the floor, have your feet about as wide as your mat, and as you rock your head, begin to rock your knees. Knees may rock in the same or the opposite direction of the head. It doesn't really matter. Just really slowly and gently opening the body, bringing the body into some movement. As the head and knees come back up next time, grab your knees, hug them into your chest in whatever way feels good. Rock a little bit on your back body. And see if you can rock shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, really massaging the full scope of the back. And as you do this, I like to crack the toes, roll the ankles, start to open the feet. Also rocking the head, ear to ear. Nice. From here, interlock your fingers. Bring the fingers just around that right knee. Left leg can either come to rest the foot on the floor, or the whole leg can just stretch and rest, whatever feels best for you. Gently drawing this right knee in as far as feels comfortable. So we do want to feel a gentle opening through the hip, breathing deeply into the belly. Feeling the tummy lift up like a big balloon as you breathe in. And the tummy softening as you breathe out. If you haven't already, let's roll that right ankle a few times. Maybe quite quickly to the right. 10 to 20 times, really, really opening that ankle. And then do that in the opposite direction quickly, 10 to 20 times. The ankle will probably get warm. It might even feel a little fatigued. That's okay, let that happen. This is really good for the ankles. And then once you're done that, stretch that right leg up towards the ceiling. Interlock the fingers around the back of the thigh. Take a couple deep breaths here as you reach that heel up towards the ceiling. Now the foot and the leg, they don't have to be that close to the face. And it will be harder if that left leg is stretched out to bring that leg quite close. So you could bend the knee now if you like. Deep breaths, opening through the back of that right leg. One more inhale here. As you exhale, bend that right knee, and you can either plant the right foot or extend the right leg. As you draw the left leg in, interlock the fingers, squeeze that knee in, breathe deeply into the belly. Again, cracking the toes and rolling the ankle of that left foot 10 to 20 times in one direction, moving quite quickly. And then the same 10 to 20 times in the opposite direction. Feeling that ankle warm up. Maybe even it gets a little tired, but let that happen. That's okay. Nice. And then again, straightening that leg up as much as you can. And there's going to be a big difference. You might notice I've got an injury, an old injury in my left leg here. So this left hamstring is really, really tight. It takes a good amount of time to open. And so don't worry if the leg doesn't come completely straight or quite close to the body. As long as you're feeling an opening through the back of the leg, that's what we're going for. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Deep breaths. Beautiful. One more inhale here. As you exhale, soften the leg, draw both knees into the chest, hug them in again, give them another little rock. And let's plant the feet, keeping them hip width apart. Feet are parallel. Arms come alongside the body. And feel a gentle lifting of the pelvic floor and engagement of the low belly and a slight hugging of muscle to bone through the legs. On your next breath in, begin to lift the pelvis up towards the ceiling and slowly shifting weight into the shoulders and opening through the spine, through the front of the body into a bridge. And as you exhale, roll back down one vertebra at a time. So take your time here. Each time you inhale, slowly lift up. And each time you exhale, slowly lift down. And as you're moving here, try to resist the temptation to thrust the pelvis forward. Rather, think about pressing into the feet, shifting weight to the shoulders, and opening through that upper back into the thoracic spine. So as we're doing this, the intention is to go relatively slowly, gently. We're not looking to get into a full expression of our bridge. Just gently opening the front of the thighs, the belly, a little bit into the shoulders. Nice. The next time you come down, just stay down, take a couple breaths, let the spine settle, feel the body, notice what you're feeling and where you're feeling it. And from here, we'll come up to a seat. You can roll to the side and press yourself up, or you can rock up to a seat, coming into butterfly, drawing the soles of the feet together, and having a nice large diamond shape in between your legs. Feet are relatively far away from your bum. And I like to rock from one sit bone to the other just to feel nice and rooted and grounded here, and hold on to the feet. I often give the arches of my feet a little bit of a massage. Take a breath in to lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, begin to fold forward. Start with a nice long spine. So resist the temptation to round just yet. Really lengthening through the neck, through the back, broadening the collarbones. Feeling gravity slowly drawing you down. And then slowly begin to round. You can let the head hang heavy. You can let the breath move into the back body. Just noticing how this shape is impacting the body. And where. One more deep breath in. Let it go with a sigh. Slowly make your way up. As you come up, roll the shoulders up, wide, and down a few times. If there's any tension in the neck, you can turn the head. And then as you're ready, slowly come forward onto hands and knees. Just coming to hands and knees in the way that works best for your body. Not really worrying what that looks like. Palms come under the shoulders, knees come under the hips. Let's start with an exhale to round the spine, draw the belly button in, tuck the tailbone, bring the chin to your chest. Really reach the shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, drop the belly button down, lift the tailbone, broaden the collarbones, lift the head. And keep moving with your breath. Continuing to open the spine, the front body. Really feeling that stretch that comes through the belly. Beautiful. And the next time that you inhale to open and lengthen that front body, tuck the toes under. As you exhale, lift up and back into a downward facing dog, adjusting the hands and the feet as you need to come into the length of downward facing dog that feels best for you. Soft through the elbows, strong through the fingers, pedaling out the feet, opening the backs of the legs. acclimating into your downward dog in the way that works best for your body. Nice. From here, look to your hands. Walk your feet to your hands. Come up to the front of your mat. Keep a deep bend in your knees and allow yourself to dangle. Head heavy, arms heavy. And your next breath in, bring your palms to your shins, lengthen to a halfway up, shift the weight to the toes, draw the crown of the head forward, long spine. Exhale to fold back down. Feel the feet press away from each other to engage the leg muscles and the core muscles as you slowly rise up, reach the hands up. And as you exhale, draw the palms to heart center, coming into Tadasana, just taking a moment to pause here. In whatever way feels best for your body. Keep breathing. Next, inhale, reach the arms up, look up. Exhale, slowly bend the knees, come down into that forward fold, hug the legs, keep the belly, the chest onto the thighs, and begin to straighten the legs from here. So we're not straightening the legs and sort of hanging off the hamstrings. We're actually deeply connecting to the legs and then straightening the legs. From here, inhale, come to that halfway up again, palms to the shins, lengthen. Nice. Exhale, come back down. Plant your hands on your mat. Step your right foot back into a low lunge. So drop that knee down. Front knee is over the ankle. Lengthen through the spine, through the neck. Take a couple deep breaths here. As you do this, feel your inner thighs hug together and feel your glutes activate to help support you here. So you're not just hanging off the pelvis. There's some muscular energy supporting you. Press into that front foot as you slowly reach the arms up, looking up for a low crescent lunge, keeping that stability through the pelvis, through the legs. Deep breaths. Take one more inhale here. As you exhale, slowly come down, bring your hands to your mat. Bring your left knee back to meet your right. We'll come into a low plank here. Deep breath in. As you exhale, lower down onto your mat. Inhale, come up just for a little baby cobra. So we're not pressing too high. Press the pubic bone into the floor. Exhale to lower. Inhale, come through, hands and knees. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Take a sigh. Next, in breath, lift the right leg up behind you, just as high as feels comfortable. And as you exhale, bend the knee, draw that foot in between the hands for a lunge. Back knee drops onto the mat. Again, coming into low lunge, engage the legs, engage the core. Lengthen the spine. And as you're ready, reach up for that low crescent lunge. Keep breathing. Nice and strong through the pelvis, actively recruiting the leg muscles, the glutes. So we're not just collapsing into the pelvis. Deep breath in. Exhale, slowly come down. Hands frame the foot. Lift that back knee, step forward, coming back into our forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale to halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale to fold. Feet press away. As you inhale, use the feet pressing away to engage the leg, reach the arms up. Exhale to come into Tadasana, whatever variation works for you. Breathe here. Inhale, reach the palms up, look up. Exhale, come down into forward fold. Bend the knees. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen the spine, shift the weight to the toes. Exhale, folding. This time, step the left foot back once again. Drop the knee down to the floor, coming into that low lunge. Recruit the muscles. We'll come a little quicker this time as we know where we're going. Reach up. Exhale to come down, plant the hands, frame the foot. You choose either bringing the knee back or stepping back into full plank. So high or low you choose. Inhale. Exhale to lower down to the belly. Inhale. Let's come just into that baby cobra, not too high. Exhale to lower. Inhale, come through hands and knees into downward facing dog. Sigh as you get there. Left leg lifts as you inhale, just as high as feels comfortable. Exhale, bend the knee, step the foot in between the hands. Back knee releases, low lunge. Inhale when you're ready, recruiting those muscles. Come up, low crescent lunge. Inhale here. Exhale to come down, frame the foot, tuck the toes, step forward. Halfway up, breath in. Exhale to fold. Use the legs, press the feet, rise up to standing. Exhale, Tadasana. Breathe. Just taking this opportunity to really tune in and feel the body. Notice what you feel and where you feel it. Finding relative stillness as you're standing here. Now begin to slowly shift your weight over to your left foot. And as you begin to lift that right knee up towards the chest, just finding some balance here, maybe finding somewhere on the floor to stare at. And then as slowly as you can, we'll step back into our lunge, a high lunge this time. Now, the longer the stance you take, the more challenging it's going to be. I recommend coming high onto the ball of that back foot to really strengthen the leg and to help activate the muscles rather than, when we're kind of just slack through the leg. Nice. Bringing the hands to the pelvis. I like to do this to make sure that the pelvis is neutral, so I'm not tilting it too far back or too far forward, or that I have an unevenness through the legs. So just getting a sense of where your pelvis is, finding that neutral pelvis. Nice. Now from here, if it's comfortable for you, bring the hands behind the back and interlock the fingers. Rather than collapsing through the elbows, keep the elbows a little bit bent and feel like you're pulling the hands apart while they're interlocked to help open through the collarbones and the chest. As you do this, draw the tailbone towards that front heel. Keep breathing. Nice. Now from here, option to begin to lean forward. We're still pulling those hands apart, allowing the hands to lift up behind us. Deep breaths. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly bring the hands down, planting the hands on your mat. Let that right hand take a little bit more weight. Bring the left hand to the low back and begin to turn towards that left thigh, twisting, looking up towards the ceiling. Stay with your breath. While the while the left leg, the left knee stays over the ankle, feel like you're gently pulling the left glute towards the back foot. Breathe. One more inhale. Exhale. Let's slowly untwist. Plant that left hand. Let's step back, high plank or low plank, up to you. Your next exhale, you lower down to your belly. Inhale, either baby cobra, or if you feel the body's ready, coming into a full cobra. Pubic bone stays on the ground, shoulders release. Exhale, lower. Inhale, come up through hands and knees. Side downward facing dog. Taking a couple breaths here. Slowly looking to your hands, beginning to walk your feet up towards your hands, coming into that forward fold, Uttanasana, really connecting the belly to the thighs. Halfway up on your next breath in. Exhale to fold. Feet press away to help support you as you rise up. Exhale into Tadasana. Let the eyes close. Take a couple moments to breathe and to notice. To feel. As the eyes float open, maybe once again finding that drishti, that focal point, as you shift your weight this time over to the right foot. As the weight shifts over, slowly begin to lift that left knee up towards the chest. And then begin to slowly step that foot back, coming into your lunge. Nice. Again, coming high onto the ball of that back foot, front knee over the ankle. And again, let's here interlock the fingers behind the back. But again, resist the temptation to collapse those elbows. Keep the elbows bent and feel as though that you're pulling the hands apart even though they're interlocked, so that if you were to let go, they would kind of fling apart. We do this to help open through the collarbones. As you're doing this, draw that tailbone towards the front heel. Keep breathing. Nice. From here, begin to hinge forward. Maybe the arms lift up behind the back. Keep the elbows slightly bent. Keep pulling apart. Slowly release those hands down, framing the foot. Let the left hand take some weight. Right hand comes to the low back. Begin to twist towards that right thigh. Looking up. Now, even though that right knee is going to stay over the ankle, there's this opposite motion as though you're almost trying to pull that right hip towards the back heel. One more inhale. As you exhale, bring that right hand down. Step back into plank. Option to drop the knees. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower to the belly. Inhale to the variation of cobra that works for your body. Exhale to come down. Inhale, come to hands and knees. And as you exhale, let's come into child's pose. Take a sigh here in child's pose and come into the variation that works best for you. Maybe the forehead doesn't quite come to the floor, so you stack palm on top of palm or fist on top of fist. If you find that the forehead comes to the floor comfortably, bring your palms face up beside your feet, elbows bent, dropping in here. Let the body rest. And keep the mind with the body. resisting the temptation to let the thoughts pull you. And stay with your breath. Just a few more breaths here. And from here, bring your palms so they're under your shoulders, slowly supporting yourself to come up, lifting through hero's pose. We're going to come right up into kneeling. Now, if you don't have a lot of cushion under your knees, one option is to fold your mat under or bring a blanket so that there's a little bit more cushion if you feel like you need it. For some people, kneeling can feel a bit intense for the knees. As we come to kneeling, we want to make sure that the knees and the hips are in alignment. And as we bring the hands onto the pelvis, we want to make sure that we're not thrusting the pelvis forward and sort of crunching into the sacrum here. So as we begin to lift the chest and the heart up towards the ceiling, rather than pushing the pelvis forward, I almost want you to feel like the thigh bone here, the femur, that you're subtly pulling it back towards the heels. And this will help to engage the hamstrings and engage the glutes and to help support the pelvis as we come into our back bend. Now, if you have issues with your neck, I would recommend just finding a place to look that feels best for you. And then we're going to just play with maybe lifting one arm, inhaling it up, and exhaling it down, and then the other. Exhale down. And just go side to side a few breaths. Just opening in a way that feels safe for the neck and for the pelvis. One more each side. Nice. And then from here, with the hands on the pelvis, we'll start to slowly open, maybe a little bit more. Now, there's variations here. This might feel like enough for you, and this may be the best place to go, especially if you have any issues or tension in the low back. For some of you, you might feel comfortable to tuck the toes. This is going to lift the heels up, so it's a little bit higher to reach the heels, and maybe just one side and maybe the other, or maybe both. Those of you that have a little bit more opening through the front or stability through the pelvis, you may be able to bring the hands to the heels as they are. Now again, don't thrust the pelvis forward. Feel as though you're pulling those femurs towards the heels, and this opening is happening through the chest. Maybe the head hangs heavy. Deep breath. Now, if the head is back, You've committed to keeping the head back. Slowly bring your hands back to the pelvis. Slowly begin to lift up. Keep the head back until the shoulders are over the hips. And then bring the head to center. And then slowly sit back onto your feet for hero's pose. Take a couple breaths here. Now, if this has been, just as it is, a lot for your back, you could feel free just to come onto your back now and lay flat on your back with your knees bent. Or if you feel called to explore one more set, just in whatever variation works best for your body. Deep breaths. Broadening the collarbones, strengthening the glutes, the thighs. Keep the head back as you bring the hands to the pelvis, keeping the head back until the shoulders come over the hips. Bring head to center, sit back into heroes. Nice deep breaths. As you're ready, slowly beginning to come down to the bum, making sure the bum is in the middle of your mat, and coming down flat on your back, knees bent, knees resting against each other. Let's give the spine just an opportunity to find neutral here. Feel it settle. If you can, resist the temptation to draw the knees into the chest. Just see if you can be with the spine and the body as it softens, finds its own way back to center, to neutral. Now, if your knees are collapsed, just bring your knees away from each other. From here, we'll lift the pelvis just enough to shift it over to the right edge of the mat. Let the arms open wide in a T position. Keep the arms as they are as you draw the knees to the chest. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, bring the knees and the feet to the floor on the left-hand side. So what we're looking for here is a nice alignment from the right shoulder to the right hip. So sometimes we need to adjust that pelvis a little bit more to make that happen. This is to ensure that we're not actually twisting the pelvis, but the twist is happening through the mid-back. You may like to bring the left hand onto the knees, maybe shifting that left shoulder, turning the head. Nice deep breaths here. Finding a way to come into your two-knee twist feels best for your body. Take a really big breath in into the belly. Sigh it out. And slowly bring the head to center. And slowly unwinding. Plant the feet, bring the pelvis to center. Just take one moment here just to notice. And then from here, lifting the pelvis, shift it over to the left edge, arms open wide, lift the knees to the chest. And as you exhale, bring the knees over towards the right side. Adjust the pelvis if you need to make sure that this twist is not happening in the pelvis. Adjusting the right shoulder if you like, turning the head. Again, finding your way into your two-knee twist in a way that is best for your body. Nice deep breath. Staying with the body, tuning in. Let's take one more big deep breath in and sigh that out. As you feel ready, slowly unwind, untwist, plant your feet, bring your pelvis to center, and now draw the knees into the chest, rocking, massaging the back body. It might feel good just to rock here with the knees into the chest, or maybe you might want to rock in a happy baby, grabbing onto the inner or the outer edges of the feet. You could grab the ankles, you could hook your fingers, your index and middle finger, your peace fingers into the big toe. It's whatever feels best. Rock your head, just really tuning in to what your body needs. And as you come back to center, when you're ready, squeezing the knees into the chest once again. At the same time that you're squeezing the knees in, draw the tailbone down towards the floor, lengthening the spine. Nice deep breaths here. One more inhale. As you exhale, lift your forehead up towards your knees. Make yourself really small, like a tiny, tiny little cannonball. Big breath in here. And as you exhale, begin the journey down into Shavasana. If you have a bolster, this is a really nice time to use the bolster, to bring the bolster under the thighs to support the low back, or if you have issues with the knees, under the knees to support the knees. So whatever feels best for your body. Using a blanket, if you'd like a blanket. Making sure the neck is neutral. Shoulders aren't scrunched together. Just finding that most comfortable position for Shavasana. And allow yourself to fully surrender here. Letting go of the mind. Allowing all the different shapes we've done to integrate into the body fully. Really letting go. as you tune in to the sound of my voice, resisting the temptation to move just yet. Try not to change your breath. Simply bring your awareness to your breath and notice how you're breathing without controlling the breath. And slowly begin to let the breath deepen. Start to run your thumbs over your other fingers, feeling the texture of your fingerprints. Start to wiggle your toes, your lips, your nose, wake up your face. Maybe make some funny faces, stretch your jaw. And when you're ready, reaching your arms over your head, coming into a morning stretch as you stretch, 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 stretch. Let it go with a sigh. Slowly and mindfully draw your knees back up into your chest. Maybe rocking again a little bit. When you feel ready, rolling into fetal position, whichever side feels comfortable for you, bringing your arm under your head to support your neck. And slowly and mindfully make your way up to a seated position, just sitting any way that's comfortable for you. Palms to heart center as we acknowledge this time together. We acknowledge our bodies, our breath, and we acknowledge the lineage of yoga passed down for thousands of years through so many teachers so that we can be practicing it here today together. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.